Hello, everyone. Andrew Taylor here. We have Chris Casarez with us today. How much have you done in a year?
In a year, I did about 840 last year, 840,000.
And we talked earlier. You dress like this to appointments.
Yes. Yeah.
So someone asked me. They go, "How should you dress to appointments?" Right? And what I came up with was however dress however makes you feel good for you.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
See, I came from this world and doing finance and stuff like that. So this is actually really comfortable for me. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this goal of burning all my suits and all that stuff one day, having like a bonfire.
Got it.
But I don't really love wearing suits. But dude, I love what you're doing because you're dressing like the professional, you know? And you're writing some big cases because you dress the part, you look the part, and you did 840K in 1 year, which is impressive. So maybe I actually should have worn suits because I never issued more than whatever 400 and something K. You know what I mean?
Got it. Yeah.
What kind of watch is that?
Invicta. I collect them.
That's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. No, the craftsmanship is, I got them to match the suits. So,
Nice.
and
Love
they're
it.
affordable.
Love it. Yeah, that's really cool. All right, so we want to learn a little bit about you. How long have you been in business? What's your family situation like? What's your schedule like? What type of leads do you work, etc.?
Okay. So as far as how me being in April of, I think the end of April 2019 was like the first policy I ever wrote. It took me a while. I've talked about this before. When I first got going through licensing, and I know a lot of people have, the impatience is there. So when I got the exam voucher, I had the test passed by day 5, and then it took the state of Virginia like 2.5 months to get everything through. So in that time, I just did a bunch of studying. So just want to make sure I was ready, whenever that did come through. Just waiting on the emails, emails or phone calls. But yeah, since April of 19, so I'm about 2.5 years in.
And you were in the car business.
Yeah, for about 13 years collectively.
Finance manager?
Yeah, so started off in sales like everybody else, then worked into finance, and I didn't really spend much time as a sales manager, but a general sales manager, yes, which kind of oversees both departments and the sales force and everything. So I came from, suit and tie world, leading a team, hosting and holding trainings and whatnot. So this was same thing but different industry, essentially, for me in my mind, except for the leads are a little different. If you're selling cars, you are waiting for whatever cars pull up on the lot. And if you're battling like 20, 25 other, I won't say battling, but essentially when it was a dry day and the car pulled on the lot, you might be trying to get there in front of 4 or 5 other people.
There's no rotation system?
Some do. One of the ones I worked with did, but it wasn't always followed, right? So, yeah, it's kind of a dog eat dog, and you're solo there and just essentially fending for yourself. The team aspect was more of management side was leading the team, but as a salesperson, it was you and you versus everybody else. So, yeah, outside of that, when I looked at this industry, it was basically what I was doing with a product that had a higher need as far as I'm concerned with a client, and unlimited people to talk to, unlimited opportunity, not waiting for the one possible shot, possible 2 shots, right? In the course of standing around for 8, 10, 12 hours. So, and if that client came in and because some salespeople are starving at dealerships, and was like, hey, yeah, I'm here for the service department, the team would count it as you're up, right? So you go in the back of the line, and it wasn't even actual real opportunity.
Got
right?
it.
So, yeah. So when I looked at this and having leads available, kind of like what we were talking about before, I just saw unlimited opportunity to serve clientele that was already looking for the product that I was providing.
What were you making in the car business?
At the height of it, right before I left, about 180, 200.
why were you even thinking about making a switch? And who'd you meet that said, "Hey, look at this"?
Yeah. So, in the car business, you kind of got to, trying to choose my words here. You got to kind of be in the good old boy club, right? Even when you do reach management and middle and upper man, right? That's just in the corporate world. You still got to kind of say and do everything you're being told to say and do, or else that can be taken from you. And I never really fit that mold. And yeah, so the main reason why I left is because they had moved me over to be a GSM of an entire dealership, and we increased the bottom line there by almost threefold. And yeah, the next year they basically said, "Great job," and to all the other people who were, the highest paid managers in the company, we pretty much got offered a 50% pay cut
For what?
because they could get somebody in there to do the job better
So you walked.
or the same job.
You walked on the pay cut.
100%. So I have a wife and 3 kids. Like I said previously, me and my wife have been together since we were like 14. So yeah, they were counting on me and going from 180, 200 to possibly 100. If we like hit every bonus level inside of that pay plan every month, yeah, to cut everything in half, that just wasn't going to happen. It didn't make financial sense. We couldn't. So unfortunately, we got to a point where, like most of America, where we live almost right just about to the means that we're bringing in. So made that mistake, but not fully. I've always been a decent saver, now more than ever, because I do like investing back in this business, and we always need to have funds available. So
Yeah, we were we were looking for a name for this podcast, and we were gonna name it F the Joneses.
okay,
And it was the idea was something that drives a lot of us crazy, which is trying to keep up with everybody else with materialistic stuff.
Yeah,
that keeps you in the rat race and keeps you broke, really.
yeah.
You could have the nicest car and be broke. You could have the nicest house and be broke. You go meet with customers and you're probably shocked sometimes, like I was, at who's broke and who's not.
Oh yeah.
Like you go into a trailer, they go, "I want to pay $450 a month." Like crazy. You go into this and this isn't all the time, but sometimes it just makes you think, like, how about we invest in something like FFL, build up passive income, and you don't have to be, I call it a prisoner, but you don't have to be stuck in the rat race of working just to pay bills, working just to pay bills, working just to pay bills, and never getting ahead,
For sure. No, I agree with you on that. Yeah, been in a lot of households, and yeah, that is, but I can always tell. But I never prejudge. And here's the deal. I mean, you guys see this and, whatever. And I pull up in a nice car to the client's house.
What kind of car?
That's all. I know you asked me.
Tesla?
No. And Lord, I only bought it because I got a great deal on it. A 2020 Mercedes CLS 450 AMG.
Nice.
But they gave it to me for like 12, 13 grand under invoice. So I couldn't say no just because it was an incredible deal. So,
nice.
But nonetheless, that's all. Outside of that, I'm in like what I call dad gear, right? So the active wear shorts, and I'll be in some slides or flip flops, and like I am super chill outside of when I'm working because I don't like that. We don't have. I probably did more flaunting, right, when I was making the 180, 200, way more, because I was trying to, I don't know, overcompensate and look like we had more than we had, but
keep up with the Joneses.
There you go, right? Yeah.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Or try to be the Joneses, right, for everybody else to keep up with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, none of that now, and obviously we have more money than we've ever had, but I do invest back a lot, so it's not like a ton. So
now, what'd you learn about that? Can you talk about that a little bit? Going from, spending a lot to changing your mindset to building a business.
Yeah. So when I say spending a lot, we like to take a lot of vacations. We're not. It's not designer this or that, or I'm not trying to own a Rolls Royce or something. Maybe later, right? But previous to that, it was more the vacation stuff and, eating out every meal and stuff. We like to eat good, but yeah, building a business and seeing the opportunity for passive income, it's not so much about the money. It's close to oxygen in terms of necessity, right? Because even if you want to do things for people, you want to give, you want to be charitable, it still takes money and money above and beyond your bills, which means you have to work harder to earn more. So it's not about the money part. It's you'll get what you want out of life if you help enough other people get what they want. So building this business, I have no problem putting in, tens of thousands of dollars a month if it takes to build this thing and find other people who are looking to change their family's future.
Yeah, but you're also, what are you bringing in per month?
So last year I averaged around 70,000 a month. I guess you do the math there, around 70,000 a month.
And you started in 19?
April of 19. Yeah. So I'm was
you're new.
Yeah. I what do they say? Run fast, break stuff, right? So from April of 19, end of April 19 to December, I did 277. But I gave a lot of it back because I came in with kind of that car business mentality, and every policy I was writing, I was closing on the money, and it wasn't painting the picture, it was building emotion, building the value. I was just closing payments like I had been doing for 13 years, and a lot of chargebacks. So, yeah, I kind of had to, remove myself back. It wasn't the client, it wasn't the lead, it was myself, and I knew that, and I had to figure out what I was doing wrong. And it just simply put, I wasn't caring enough about the client.
Let's talk about that. Chargebacks. That could be something that puts someone out of business early.
For sure.
It could be something that's extremely frustrating for an agent.
Yeah.
What are some things you did that made you better?
I started trying to talk every client down once they picked their
I love
premium.
doing that.
Every single one. I still do it now. Every single one.
So pitch me and talk me down.
Gotcha. So let's just say we are looking at young and healthy, so CBO, and let's just say 200 grand is, and I mean you can play along if you want to, but 200 grand is $200 a month, in 150, 100, right? So after we get done, you say, yep, love the product. I want to go with the whole 200,000. So I'm saying now, Andrew, like I talked about when I first sat down, all that matters is long-term affordability. Okay. So a lot of us, a lot of clients that I sit with buy insurance with their heart first, which might not fit inside the budget. So now this $200 a month, and generally we're at a kitchen table. So I'll say, hey, if that refrigerator over there goes out tomorrow, or if you catch not one but two flat tires, I need to know that this is still affordable, and this is not the first bill that's going to get canceled. And if that $200 brings you any hint of stress at all, even the littlest bit, we need to move down. So now, again, let's just say all three happened. Refrigerator went out and you caught two flat tires. Could you still afford that? Like I just grill them all the way down. Most of the time I hear, you know what? Yeah, let us start at the 150, right? And I'll tell them, great, perfect. So we'll get you excuse me. So yeah, we'll start you at 150, right? And I do annual reviews with all of my clients.
You do?
Yeah, we'll start you at 150, okay? Have you get used to that in your budget, right? And then we can revisit increasing as long as your ability to qualify hasn't changed.
How much business do you get on annual reviews?
Just kind of getting into those.
Because you haven't even done this much.
Yeah, and honestly, I had to learn the lesson of updating the CRM so we get those alerts. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't doing that when I first started.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
Dude, I wrote so much business on annual reviews because they trust you. You showed up a year later. They really, really, really trust you. And then they tell you stuff they never told you. Like, I have a 401k. I have this. I have that. I have all these things,
Yeah. So kind of on that part, is some people see the numbers I post and, as of recent, it was like 50, 52 grand, 60,000, et cetera.
A week,
yes. It was probably going to be 65 or 70. I have no problem. I literally try to talk everybody down at the table just to make sure it's affordable. And so how I kind of wrap that up is now if you say no, I want the 200, I can handle it. I'm going to look you right in your eyes like I'm doing right now and say, now, Andrew, the reason why I say that is because in 30, 60, 90 days, I do not want to get an email from the carrier saying you canceled this policy, because it will not be because you don't want to protect your family. It'll be because you signed up for too much insurance today based upon your budget. So they have to sell me that they can afford it, like several times before I'll even open the application.
That's good. Now you're using advanced market sales products to write this much business. What percentage is like Americo?
Well, so like last year, my 840, I think it was like a close to a 60-40 split, maybe a little more, like 65-35.
Of what?
Of, I'm sorry, life business, 65% life business.
What about
the rest.
simplified issue life business?
Yep.
50?
Probably, because I do a lot of IULs. And I do like, I mean, you mentioned Americo, write a ton of their products. Mutual of Omaha's IULE, love that product. It's a great product. It's simplified issue, but it's not issued on spot most of the time, right? So it is a simplified issue product, but there's a bit of a process to get it issued after. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's, a few days, sometimes it's weeks. But a great product in certain circumstances with certain clients.
What advice would you give to somebody to close a sale where somebody can't come in behind you and mess with your sale? Like, do you do anything when you're leaving the house?
No, that's all done during the presentation for me. Just through all the studying I've done. So what I do as a part of the presentation, I tell them there's really 4 types of insurance that anybody can invest in. You got basic term, and I want to say I picked this up from Ivan. Just made some tweaks to it. But you have basic term coverage, right? $1 sign there. You got mortgage protection, but the term version, where mortgage protection has living benefits, a couple of dollar signs there. Next, whole life, $3 signs there. Explain that. Now, it's basically like your term, but it's permanent, right? You lock in your premiums, you lock in your death benefit forever, but it doesn't have living benefits like mortgage protection does. Most of the products don't. And then permanent. So that's your guarantee universals, IULs. We don't deal in VULs. So, So what we do is based on their health, I'll know which product they can get in. And then I tell them during the, setting the table that I'm going to help them design a product that will best help protect their family. So I'm going to walk them through each and why term doesn't make sense if they're, early insulin or whatever. All right. And we got to go the whole life route. I'll walk through why they either can't get term or it doesn't make sense. And I'll literally strike through each of them to let them know, and they will agree, looks like this is the best product for me. Then we just find the best, the company and that they can actually get qualified for. So when doing the right thing in the home the first time and writing the right product, and I go behind a lot of agents that write these $60, $70, $80 a month premiums.
And you write a 400.
Because they didn't dig deep enough into the finances. Find out, I wouldn't say 400, too. Every now and then the fours come, but 152, 250, that's what they really needed. But the client elects that. Right. Once we dig through everything, they're like, you know what? You're right. Boom. So go ahead.
I was early on showing the client what I could afford, which was nothing because I worked at the grocery store.
Yeah.
So all my premiums were like $16 a month, $20 a month, $22 a month.
Yeah.
I wrote a whole bunch of apps, and then finally someone was like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, no one, you have the record for the lowest premiums in the history of ever in insurance. They're like, what are you showing people? I'm like, just what I think's affordable for them.
Yeah.
They're like, that's the problem. It's not what you think's affordable for them. You're 18. You've never made any money. You live with your mom and you work at the grocery store and you don't have a family. Yeah. And so I had to understand that I can't prejudge what somebody can afford. And then I went out and I showed some people like 200, 300, 350 a month. And you know what? No problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So the value has to be there and they have to understand the importance. It's got to be real to them. And again, yes, you have to build the value. So like I said, I walk through kind of the 4 types of insurance in our whole portfolio. And again, we design a product together. They pick their level with or without living benefits. I mean, we walk through that so that they know they're in the best possible product they can qualify for at a rate they selected. Therefore, nobody can come in behind me and replace.
So I do want to challenge you a little bit on this.
Okay.
A lot of products are very similar. Okay. How I think that if you leave the house as their agent that they trust, it's like I like to say I'm going to call my lawyer, right? Everyone wants to say I'm going to call my lawyer, right?
Of course.
Well, I also want to say I'm going to call my insurance guy. I'm going to call my CPA. I'm going to call these are my people. Like, these are the people that have this is my team, right?
Yeah.
If you do your job correctly in the home, whatever some people aren't even going to get a chance to pitch them something else because you're their guy.
Correct. Yeah.
How do you leave with you being their guy?
It's layered. That's what I say. It's in the basically the presentation process that when I sat at the table with them, it's funny because I show up in the nice car, show up in a suit, and they think, oh God, here comes the sales guy. And then we have a conversation like me and you are having, like just as relaxed, just as comfortable. Then we design the product together, and then I try to talk them down, right? Because salesperson wants to get the most out of them.
So you're getting trust by talking them down.
Yep. That's just the added layer, kind of tying it down there. And I mean, it's very rare that I don't leave with an actual hug, even though we're a COVID scenario, right? Yeah, people are very, very appreciative. So just building that trust and with the professionalism and the knowledge, and they're designing their product and picking their premium, right? Most agents will try to jam something down their throat, right? So other than that, they get my personal cell phone, tell them call and text me if you need anything, right? Sometimes I'll do.
Do you say I'm your guy for life?
Oh yeah, of course.
You save your number in their phone?
Yep.
Do you text them?
All the time.
So one thing I said, it's funny since you're in the car business, guy.
Yeah.
So this was how I would end an appointment. So I'd go, Chris, have you ever bought a car?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever gone to the back after you agreed on a price and you talk to a dude that adds on an alarm, a warranty, and all these other things and tweaks and adjusts things, and next thing you know, your payment goes up?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people are going to call you to try to tweak and adjust what you have. We've already gone over everything. This looks good for you. Do you remember my name?
Yes.
Okay. What is it?
Andrew.
Okay. If someone calls you and it's not Andrew, they're calling you to do that.
I like that.
So I'm your guy. I'm going to be your lifetime agent for you and your family. If someone calls you and it's not me, what are you going to say?
Click.
Okay.
Right.
Now, these guys are sales assassins. They will convince you to let them come over. But if it's not me, what's their plan?
Yeah, of course, just sell me something else, right?
Are you sure you're going to be able to handle this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I like that.
So when I'm leaving, I'm challenging them, and you know what they say? These mother effers ain't getting past me on the phone.
That's so funny.
So I like challenging them, and dude, I loved doing that. That was such a home run for me.
Yeah, no, that's great. Just the relationship and the trust that's built throughout the process. I honestly don't have an issue with that. Like, I don't have persistency's 90%.
That's so
right
good.
there, right? And I don't do what you do at the end of the home. Not saying that's bad.
But
that's awesome. I actually really love that.
But you're just doing a good job.
There you go. That's the best kind of way I can put it. Yeah.
So if you do a good freaking job, not only that, you study this, you've become an expert at it. It'd be hard for someone even to have a conversation with you about products and the way things work and what's best for a customer, because they probably wouldn't understand it because they're not studying. Their car is not filled with podcasts about products and how to deliver things and do things and get better. Yeah. So they probably have a hard time competing against you, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, do you send a thank you letter? Do you send anything? You do. What does that say?
So I have a picture of my family. that says thank you on the front, and it's pre-printed out. But yeah, picture of me and my wife and my kids, and it says thank you, on the front, real big, and on the back I handwrite, something that their name, Mr. and Mrs. Right. In general, I'll put first name. Thank you for allowing me to help you protect your family. And then I'll throw in some details of whatever we talked about, whatever was private and kind of personal to the conversation I had with them, or facts, or about their kids, or about their cousin and brother, etc. Tell them if you need anything at all, don't hesitate to call or text me. I include another card, but I sign it, your agent, Chris Casarez. I handwrite my cell phone and include another business card in there. Yeah, that's the layered follow-up.
That's huge. So I always sent a letter that said same thing, but I put in at the bottom, I look forward to being your full service agent for many years to come. Call me for anything. Thank you. Then I would send a text. Hey, I sent you a thank you letter for trusting me to do your to handle your insurance. We also do these other products. We have all these different carriers. If you need anything, call me anytime. This is my full-time job. Look forward to helping you for many years to come. Like, dude, it's hard to forget somebody that's that persistent. Magic Johnson was giving a training on success, okay? And I've always been interested in real estate, realtors, sales, all kinds of different other things. Sales if you learn how to sell, you learn how to sell. You agree with that, right?
Yeah.
If you could do cars, you could do insurance, you could do solar, you can do other things.
What sales is it's communication.
Communication.
So
what he said is he goes, okay, how can you go above and beyond what someone else is going to do? And the example was, what if you just leave, let's say I'm going to pick you up to show you houses. What if I find out what you like to drink? What if I have a small cooler with water and what you like to drink in the car? What if I make sure my car is clean? What if that's an experience, not me, waking up 10 minutes before, throwing some wrinkly clothes on and showing up to show you the property?
Yeah.
Like, there's a big, big difference there.
For sure.
So as an agent, what can we do to go above and beyond what a normal agent would do? Follow up, thank you letters, actually do annual reviews.
Yeah, 100%.
And there's probably some other things. I don't know if you can think of any, but I'm sure there's other things.
For instance, one of my clients is I won't say the team up here, but really into the NFL. Their team won. I text them about it. Something short and sweet. I was thinking about you. I just saw your crew, crush, ABC other team, and you just sent back like a GIF, a GIF, whatever you want to call it. Back, but just doing that. If I'm in the neighborhood, I might stop by. Like, I had a appointment with a client, and 3 doors down was a previous client of mine. And while I was there, I stopped by. And then, once I saw where I was like, oh, hey, boom, stopped by real quick, said hi, went to that client, and I said, hey, do you know such and such, 3 doors down? Oh, yeah, that's my boy. Done deal. But if I'm in the area, I stop by, just things like that.
Even just texting it to do annual reviews. Hey, Chris, wanted to schedule your annual review to go over your insurance policies. What works best on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Dude, text is a great way to communicate now.
98% open rate. It's the best way.
Yeah. I like text.
Yeah. I mean, just to reach clientele, just for marketing, period. That's why we get so many. I've been out here with you, and I've gotten a bunch of texts from a bunch of different marketing companies because I'm, inside that. Yeah. So, but yeah, more than emails and more than phone calls, texts. So, I think Sean talked about this on the last Q&A. If you're not calling, texting, and door knocking your leads, text is huge. Text is huge with clients, especially booking appointments. So,
the interesting thing about what we do is we know we're all going to die.
Yep.
But we call people like we're not, like we're going to live. And we are, as sometimes in the beginning, we're not very persistent, like we're going to live forever.
Yeah.
Like, we all know the end of this movie. And we're sitting there to protect somebody's family, and we're acting like it's not going to happen sometimes.
Yeah.
But I always think about all the people that I've challenged to get to earn their business. So I didn't just let them say, no, I'm going to think about it. I challenged them because I learned they're not going to call me back.
Never.
Ever.
Never, ever.
So I go, I'd rather leave and challenge them, even if they don't like me or they judge me, than leave and they're not protected.
For sure.
And when I started doing that, I started to help a lot more people. But I always think about all the people that I've seen, right? Eventually, everybody's going to die one day. We got thousands and thousands and thousands of policies on the books, agency-wide or FFL-wide, 13,000 applications a week. All these people, eventually, we did something that's going to help their family. It's going to trickle down into their kids and their grandkids and everything. Dude, it's huge, actually, if you actually think the impact.
Yeah, we are in service to the community. When I came in, it's funny you say 13,000 apps a week. When I first started, I remember it being a big deal when we hit like 1,500 or 2,000. Like Sean mentioned that on like a TNL, breaking record after record. Now we're 13,000. Wow, it's incredible.
What do you think about somebody that already has life insurance? And I want to tell you after something that was like a light bulb went off in my head when I was in the field. But how do you feel if you walk in and they're actually well covered?
I don't know if like well covered exists really. Depends on what kind of coverage. See, most of the time, you have that bell curve of financial responsibilities unless they refinance a house way later in life. So you kind of go through that transition. We go through the transition as individuals where term makes the most sense and big coverage term for way cheap. So most of the time they're going to term out of some stuff. Or, I see a ton of old universal lives that are, gotten to the point where they're starting to implode on themselves. So I don't know that well covered makes sense. Got work coverage, right? Group term, annual renewable stuff, whether it's every year, every 5 years, they don't own it. So again, unless they've sat with a experienced agent or broker, I don't know that well covered exists in most households. So out of every 10 households I sit in, probably 6 already have some kind of coverage in place, and 4 to 5 of those are going to term out, increasing stuff, not as much as they thought they had, only work insurance, which none of that leaves them well covered. So
yeah, I just made this decision where if you add coverage, you're never going to hurt them.
No, for sure. And work insurance, a lot of agents struggle with work insurance. There's a reason why it's set up as a multiplier of their income, because it's for income replacement. It's not for mortgage protection. It's not designed for really anything else. Can it be used for anything else? Absolutely. But what happens to that coverage when they separate service in any fashion? Mm-hmm. Does the cost increase? Does, the city where I'm at, people work for the city, the death benefit, the second they retire, it starts decreasing by 2% every month until it hits like a baseline, which is this much compared to.
But people don't know that.
Yeah, most people don't. So studying this craft and knowing, like I'm a heavy military area, military coverage every 5 years goes up, and it goes from like $32 to $1,800 a month if they never change it, which is, outrageous.
Now, you can learn this by experience, coming across it, seeking help, doing homework.
Calling mentorship. I was talking about YouTube University and Google University. There's plenty of information on there for all of us. So when I ran into a situation, had some good mentors, but I'm always going to seek additional knowledge and detailed knowledge so I can talk about it in depth. Because if I can sit with a client, especially north of age, 55, who's retired or getting ready to, and I know more about the benefits they're getting ready to receive or that they have than they do.
It's a home run.
Oh, yeah.
When I was brand new and I was younger, you know what my question was to all the top people? How can I get people to take me seriously? Because I really don't know what I'm talking about, right? One of the tips was study all the common medications so that if they're whatever their health conditions are, you're familiar with them, and you'll appear to be smart and know what you're talking about, right? So I studied all the common diabetes, metformin, blood pressure, whatever it is, a Tenolol. Is that's a common one? A Tenolol, water pills or whatever, hydrochlorothiazide, all these different things. And then when I'm meeting with somebody, now what you're talking about is another level of that. You know, you're familiar with what happens with military benefits, with
Federal and city benefits and all that stuff.
yeah,
Because most of my clientele, some way, shape, or form, I mean, 60 to 70% of my area is like attached to federal government employment or military stuff. And so, whether dependent or whatever, in some way, shape, or form. So, if I know that's going to be my clientele, why would I not know everything about it?
and over time you learn everything. It's funny, you can even learn everything about competitor products. You can almost
Sure.
like predict exactly what they have based off of what they're paying, the amount of coverage they have. Is it going to go down every year? Is it going to go up? Whatever. Can you explain an IUL imploding or a UL imploding and why that happens?
Yeah. So, an IUL can implode if not set up correctly. But these old variable universal lives, and obviously we don't name company names up here, but there's about 3 company names as soon as I hear them. And they say I have $200,000 worth of whole life coverage for $50. I already know what's going on. So, cost of insurance inside of a UL, every UL policy goes up every year, right? But there are some set up to where you can gain. So, variable, you can gain money, but you can also lose, right? And they also sometimes come with the highest fees built into the policies, but nonetheless, they're set up for failure in the future. So let's just say a client signs up and premium's $100. The cost of insurance may be, and I'm just shooting in the dark. There's nothing solid here, but let's just say $30, $40 when they first, let's say 40, when they first open up the policy. So next year it might move to 41, 42, but as they get older, right, it's going to creep up towards the 100 they're paying in. Okay. And let me not block this mic. It's going to reach a point where it surpasses, right? Let's just say they're deep enough into the policy where their cost of insurance is $200 a month versus the 100 they're paying in. So those particular policies build cash value. So what happens is $100 a month would be $1,200 for the year, 200, right? $2,400. So additional $1,200 they're going to take from the cash value until the cash value is gone, so that the client does not see any change in their monthly billing. So once all that cash is gone,
You have to make up for the new cost of the policy.
Correct. So
Now, in a world where it goes really good, that cash value makes so much interest.
yeah,
That
that's why index makes sense, because it can't go backwards, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's made to help grow that cash value to out earn and outrun
the cost of
the
insurance.
cost of insurance, so that the client does truly never see a difference in their premium. So again, Forster's IUL, Forster's Smart UL, great product for that. And you got that's guaranteed. Guaranteed universal life, so it's structured as long as you pay the years minimum. And then you got the Smart Solve. Smart Solve makes it run out until age 100. I mean, that's what it's designed for. Same thing with Mutual of Omaha.
I love Foresters.
Yeah, Mutual of Omaha IULE. Yeah, great product as well. Designed to last till age 100. It's got the guaranteed until age 80 feature to it, so that if for any reason it doesn't grow as well, the client's still covered until age 80. So.
Now, you've used advanced market sales with FFL to help you when you didn't understand something. Can you explain that process? This is like a tool agents can use that I think's crazy beneficial.
You said when I didn't understand the process.
If you didn't understand what to present to a client, you would use AMS.
For sure. So Sean Ruggiero and his team are incredible. I mean, the illustration tool with each of the carriers that we write annuities with, play with the illustration tool, right? So I wanted to kind of play with where, how much money they had, whether it's qualified, non-qualified, RMDs being a factor, where to start the aid, all this stuff. It's a tool. Play with the tool.
And if you don't know what an RMD is, ask.
Yep. So what I did, again, YouTube University, Google University, just studied everywhere that we could possibly put our money when it comes to investment vehicles, so that I knew how to at least hold a conversation about it. Sound somewhat knowledgeable, and then after a while became pretty knowledgeable, as well as positioning. So people's funds, some just have it there for legacy purposes. Some are actively taking income. Some plan to take income. And there's a product to fit each need on the annuity side, just like there is a life side. So knowing what the products do, carrier, right? Log into your agent profile. There is product specific training for each product that they have. The way I learned, Global Atlantic's IULs. I mean, it was like a 30, 40-minute video on YouTube detailing the product, its features, how to design it, so.
So I think people forget they can call the carrier.
Yeah.
They're
call the carrier.
Multi-billion-dollar companies, and they have people that will run you an illustration. Yeah. You can go through scenarios with them. You can go through underwriting with them. You can do all kinds of stuff.
Yep. So we have that. I mean, thankfully, Sean Rosier and his team, we have that here. And then, call the carrier. Call the carrier. You can wear them out. That's what they get paid for.
Yeah.
The sales desk there.
Sales desk, yeah. One thing I did that was crazy helpful that's really stupid and simple is I just saved all the logins to every carrier on my iPad.
That's vital.
I know. But I didn't have that. Drew, how bad am I with passwords? I'm like the worst person ever with passwords. I don't know how to get into my own stuff. I don't know how to get into my iCloud. Factory Fresh organizes everything, and I have to call them. But if you just spend the time to autosave every single carrier's website and log in, and you don't have to do anything except click on it, and you can access forms and illustrations and all these other things. What kind of computer do you use?
So I had just a touchscreen HP, but I switched over to a tablet. That HP was almost 16-inch screen. It was heavy.
The Surface?
Heavy. No, I think it was called the Envy, I think. But basically, I just walked into, because one day it cost me an annuity and a life policy because I could not get service on this device I was utilizing previously. It cost me about $4,600 in commission.
Was it an Apple product?
No.
Okay.
So,
I didn't think so.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So like that night when I was done with it, I just walked into Best Buy and said, listen, give me the biggest touchscreen laptop you have, because I had to have that. I didn't have the touchscreen feature, and I worked my way into that. You have to make money and increase the tools that you have. But just kind of just circling back about all this studying and becoming the professional, we're in service of our community and these leads, these families, because a lead is not just a piece of paper. There's real people attached behind it. If you want to properly be able to serve them, and we all come to this with certain monetary goals, but if you want to properly be able to serve them, you need to know how to. So why would you not want to get better at your craft and know the products that you have to offer your clients?
Even practice on an app.
Even that, yeah.
Like practice filling an e-app out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But yeah, just studying and knowing the craft and annuities and IULs, that they may seem scary to a lot of agents. They're really not too tough of a product.
I think there's an issue when people try to only do annuity and IULs.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
100%. It's impossible to do.
Yeah.
With the leads that we have, you can't. Everybody doesn't have money for an annuity, and everybody can't qualify for an IUL. So.
And not only that, sometimes they take longer to issue and you can't stay in business.
Yep.
Because there's something nice. You can't go wrong with return of premium.
No.
And you can't go wrong with getting paid in 2 days.
Yeah, 100%. That's why we show America first.
So you hit Americo, you come back and do an additional IUL?
Yeah, those are separate. I never write IUL as the primary coverage source, unless we're talking like
major, big time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So every lead, you kind of have 2 or 3 appointments. You have regular. Yeah.
Oh, no. 1, 2.
So you do the IUL.
Yeah, I'll do it on the spot.
On the spot.
And an annuity, too, if it makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't overcomplicate it. Hey, super simple, easy. A lot of people do this. No problem.
The only time we do the second appointment now, it was different before, but the only time we do the second appointment now is if I'm short on time to do an advanced market app. If I have, because we talked about I'm back to running like 12, 13 appointments a day. So, yeah, it's the only time we do the second appointment now. Yeah, and then just bring back an illustration, if anything, for either of those products. But if I can do it on spot, showed enough and written enough IULs and annuities, I can whip up an illustration in like 2-3
But somebody
minutes.
new
So,
would be a good idea. Sell the mortgage protection, sell the final expense,
life first.
book an appointment to come back, get some feedback, practice, go back and sell.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Because you want to, Sean Ruggiero and his team, right? They're there for a reason. As well as the carriers, calling the carriers in their sales desk. So, yes, life business first. Always life business first. I don't know that. I think I've had 2 or 3, and I think I'm near somewhere 35, 40 annuities I haven't looked at in a while. 2 or 3 that I didn't also write a life policy for out of all those. So like 10%. It was probably due to a health situation and the premium bonus on the product being way more than, the insurance they were looking for. So it covered that factor. But yeah, no, I wrote a piece of life business for, let's just say if it was 40, for probably 37 of them. All right. So life first always. Yeah.
That's good. All right. Let's go over lead types and expectations. How would you train on what to expect on different lead types, conversions, rejection rates, all those things?
Gotcha. So, and it just hit me when you mentioned that. You asked me about my schedule earlier, and then we kind of went off on a little something different. So, but this ties in. So I do 100% mortgage protection personally. If I don't have enough flow on that, go ahead.
Okay. So what if somebody can't get enough mortgage protection in their area or
Correct.
within 2-3 hours?
Yep.
So you're able to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we'll go from, we'll talk about mortgage first because that's like a hot button for a lot of people. And that's, being marketed by other companies that, we have this and we have mortgage in your area. For one, it costs. So dependent upon the mailer rates, my lead. So let's just say, I spent $700 mailing out 1,000 mailers. Excuse me. And I get 10 leads back. Each lead was $70, right? But there's weeks that 5 will come back, 10 will come back, right? So it's not a set. You have your buy per lead programs, but you don't want to be learning on $60, $70, $80, $120 leads.
And real quick, like there's nothing proprietary about mailing.
No,
Like,
not at all.
You could find a new mail house, they can mail, you get the returns. There's nothing proprietary about getting additional mortgage protection leads.
Absolutely.
You've
not.
learned that, right?
Yeah. So I went in search of, lost 1, went in search of 1 and found 4.
Yeah.
So no, there's nothing. There's plenty of mail houses.
But it is a
out there.
premium cost lead.
For sure, premium cost. So when you're first coming in and learning this ordeal, again, you don't want to be learning at $80, $70, $80, $90, $100 a lead. That and the lead flow is, again, like I said, I might send out and it might cost me $700. I might get 10 leads back, 10 to work, right? Hopefully I get all 10. Hopefully I book all 10. Whereas you hop in the CRM, you can get hundreds and hundreds of leads out of the CRM, right? So that's kind of why we guide the new agents into the CRM or into final expense at $20 a lead versus 70.
So we would call it a B lead, which is older, worked.
Yeah.
And when I was new, I was like, why didn't someone else close this? Why would I call this if someone didn't close this? What's the psychology behind this?
So I forgot who said it on one of our trainings. Apparently the industry statistic is that only about 10% of leads in the industry ever get worked properly.
Oh, I believe that.
Millions of leads out there, right? So maybe the agent never got in contact. Maybe they never texted the client, made that effort. Maybe they
Bad
never
timing.
knocked. Yep, bad
Low
timing.
self-esteem, low confidence.
Yeah. So I don't close everybody and everything on the phone or in the home. And we talked about this yesterday. I do not throw away any leads because I just might not have been the right agent for them for whatever reason. And I will literally go see a client, right? And I have this cubby in my office that the agents who come in, my partners who come in the office, they know they can go in there and get whatever they want because they told me no, whether on the phone, in the home, or at the door. Yeah, and they'll go right behind me days later and write some business. Could have been bad timing. Again, maybe I wasn't the one. Or as educational as I am at the table with the client, they go back and they'll write the same product that I showed the client. I just might not have been their guy, right? Because we don't mess with everybody.
Not only that, timing's a huge factor.
Yeah, absolutely.
You call me and someone I know just dies, and I get a phone call. They say, dude, this person just passed away. You call me 5 minutes later. It's different than if I'm watching football. I'm tired from a long day at work. A bunch of stuff happened. I'm frustrated. I'm hungry. I'm irritated.
Yeah.
And you call me to book an appointment. It's different.
For sure. And then when we talk, so that's brand new fresh mortgage. So for one, even if you can get into that program, the cost per lead, okay, and it's not we talk about running the first 100 appointments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do the math on what I just gave you, right? So 10 leads would technically cost you $7,000 just to get 100 mortgage leads at the math we just talked about. Whereas you put 700 or you put 7,000 into the CRM or final expense or these non-midterm leads that we've come out with, right? Or live transfers like we were just talking about. That's a ton of opportunities, right? So age mortgage. You got 1, 2, 3 month old, as well as a 250 age mortgage that can be a year to 10 years old. I just wrote the $680,000 annuity I just wrote a few days ago was $2.50 lead. That was like a 7-year-old lead. And my thought process is with a age mortgage lead, any in the system, especially if they're years old, right? And they answer the phone, they acknowledge filling it out, they book the appointment, and they let you come over. It's pretty much a done deal. I've written business at pretty much every one of those appointments. And I say that because they've generally either sat with an agent or 2 or 3 already over the years, waited, didn't get anything just because they're being stubborn, or maybe the agent was captive. They couldn't qualify with that. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. But if it's been years and they say, yes, we still want you to come over, you're going to write a policy because they know it's important. Those are actually some of the easiest for us, even a fresh mortgage. So final expense stuff. Final expense leads, they can range $20, $25, $30, just depends on the vendor. But those are brand new, fresh leads. You get real-time updates, right? As soon as they fill out the form, they give you either favorite hobby, favorite color, dream vacation type ordeal, and you get it minutes after they send it in, right? So new, fresh lead there. And on new, fresh leads, you should be booking.
All right, let's back up.
Yep.
So new agent, you're not advising to buy $70 leads.
No.
You're advising to buy age leads.
Or even $50 leads. Yep, age leads, just some look, because look.
And what?
Go ahead.
So I have a theory.
Yep.
If you can't make a sale, let's say you get 200 leads and you can't make a sale, you should not go invest in more expensive leads if you can't make one sale.
I agree, because when we talk about the age leads in there, 1 month old, internet life leads are $4 a piece. You take a couple $100 in there, right? It's quite a few leads. So yes, if you can't.
Now, can you make one? So when I started, Paul McLean gave me a stack of leads that had ketchup and mustard stains all over them because he used to eat hot dogs every day for lunch. Like, dude, what is wrong with you?
So
like
funny.
a year later, if he couldn't get a hold of them, he gave me this stack of leads, which I called the Z leads.
Z leads, okay.
And I pick up a lead, has a ketchup stain on it. Call him. The dude just got back from overseas. Tells me to come on over. But the point is I was working the crap out of them. And if you're working, you're going to get results. You're going to help people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You could knock on enough doors to make a sale.
There's companies with no leads, like where some of our agents have came from with no leads, and they just cold knocked doors.
Yeah.
And got deals every week.
So the point is in the beginning, would you say massive effort?
100%. Yeah. So as I was kind of getting to with our CRM, it's incredible. I mean, we got $2.50 on up to $11. Got instant internet life leads, new life leads, aged internet leads, and aged mortgage in there. But that's what I was saying. A lead's not just a piece of paper. There's a family behind that. So as long as you keep that proper perspective and your heart's in the right place and you don't have you in your pockets, that's not your first priority. Is we want to help the people who want the help. So yes, with a not brand new, fresh inquiry, right? Aged, right? The average, I mean, you'll probably book about 3 out of 10 that you get on the phone if it's been some months or years. right? You'll book 3 out of 10 of those. So yes, they take some more work. Brand new, fresh, you should be booking probably 7, 8 out of 10. Even if you're like okay on the phone, they just ask for it, like days or hours or minutes, like it just happened. Their interest is complete, it's fresh. So, and then with all the information, the validatable information, name, address, date of birth that they got to fill out. Some of them height, weight, smoker, non-smoker. Are you married? Did you go to college? How much coverage are you looking for? Like nobody just accidentally clicks 15 buttons.
Now, what
So,
what percentage of internet leads do you think are completely bogus?
I honestly don't know, but I do understand the psychology behind that lead. Is that lead's generated if someone Googles, buy life insurance, right? If they wind up on our site, our lead is indeed exclusive. So I think some of our agents that I've heard talked about that work within all of FFL are getting there's some misunderstanding there that those aren't. They are, but from a client's perspective, the psychological aspect is that they clicked it thinking they were going to fill everything out, thinking they were going to get a quote.
Get a quote.
Yes. They were going to see a number on their screen, right? So when they don't, they're going to go to the next link, and then the next link, and then the next.
Well,
link.
what I do, and something I've even put bad info in before.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get a million
John
calls.
Doe at 123 Main Street.
But at least you do know that this person is somebody is looking for insurance.
Yeah.
Now you're
Just
really
understand-
good on the phone, so
Go ahead.
we've all had a brand new mortgage protection lead say, I filled it out, but I don't want to talk. Go away.
Yeah.
Final expense lead, filled it out, don't want to talk, go away. Internet lead, filled it out. I'm busy. I just wanted a quote. See you later. Bye. Click. How do you overcome that on the phone?
The mortgage leads say the same thing as the fresh ones say the same thing as the 11-year-old ones, right? Where there's about 5 or 6 objections that we get on the phone. It doesn't matter the lead type, what it is. So I bring it back when there is pushback. I'll say, okay, Andrew, real quick. So when you had first filled this form out, what was your main concern? Who are you looking to protect? And
My
I
wife.
ask it just like that with the pause. When you say my wife, perfect. That's my job to help you do so and figure out what you can actually get qualified for. So what time did you say you got off tomorrow?
Totally threw me off right there.
The reason why is, listen, when somebody fills out a form, they're obviously, thinking about their mortality and thinking about who they want to protect. So I want to bring that person back to mind. Because if I do that, and when you say my wife, you start thinking about your wife, even for a brief moment. And it takes your mind off of whatever objection you were getting ready to get, or whatever pushback. Perfect, Andrew. That's my job to help you do that and actually see what you can get qualified for to protect your wife. So again, what time did you say? I'm back to the script. Everything's back to the script. But the word tracked again is, Andrew, let me ask you a question real quick. When you first filled this form out, what was your main concern? And who are you looking to protect? Because I want that person to come to top of mind, as they say.
Nicole.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, especially if you give me a name, right? So I'm just back to the script. Perfect. That's my job to help you do so. I broker for like 17 different carriers. So I got to figure out what you actually can qualify for to protect Nicole.
What percentage of each lead would you say you book? And then what percentage do you close? And then what percentage, well, we know 90% stays on the books. So what percent, if you get mortgage, booked, closed, final expense direct mail, from what you've seen, booked, closed, internet, what you've seen, booked, closed?
So once you do get good on the phone, again, it's just working the numbers, but you should be booking 7, 8 out of 10. So brand new fresh mortgage, I'm generally booking 9 out of 10 because I'm kind of, and I dial in front of the team on Zoom. I have for the past 2 years. So I'm not just saying that to say it. I do it in front of the team, right? Tons of recorded dial sessions. So generally 9 out of 10. And then show rate, about 75%. So if I book 20, 15 are generally there. And then I'm, dependent upon the week, I'm 70 to 90% on the close. But yeah, I guess you can hit it right in the middle and say 80. Because I'm just really understand how important this is. Everything I walk through with the client, make it comfortable, educational. I design the product with them. They play a part in that, and they pick their premium that makes sense, and I try to talk them down. So, just the whole process of it, They know they need it, and I'm going to look at their current financial inventory thoroughly. So yeah, so I mean that's what it should look like on any real brand new fresh lead. You should be booking about 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 that you get on the phone, tying them down properly. So you should be
That you get on the phone.
Yep, that you get on the phone, which is not going to be all of them.
Okay, that makes more sense to me. When you said you booked 80%, I was like, I've never booked 80%. But you're saying just if you get them on the phone at 70 to 80. Okay.
Not of the total, because then,
That's easy.
if you got 200 leads, you can
Yeah.
run 160 appointments,
Okay.
right? So, yeah, of who you get on the phone, right? Because every agent who's been doing this while, most of our dial sessions is the non-pickups, right? So you might dial 400 dials in a day and get 30 people on the phone, right? So you dial 12 times as many, multiplier-wise, as many that you actually had to pick up the phone. Because people work, people have things to do, doctor's appointments, whatever. They don't know our numbers when we call, right? So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of factors that go into that. But that should be the math really across the board on all new leads. I mean, you should be getting 7, 8 out of 10 on the phone. If you're tying them down properly, you should be sitting ballpark 70, 75% of them. And even if you don't have a ton of experience, but you're calling your mentor in the home, you should be closing at least half of that. So the only thing that changes is the front side. Excuse me. When you're calling age leads out of the CRM, you probably set about 3, 4 that you get out of every 10 that you get on the phone.
That you get on the phone.
That you get on the phone, correct.
So the rejection rate's way higher.
Correct. Yep. Because again, the interest isn't fresh. Could have been a month, 2, 3, or years.
But sometimes people go, I've been waiting for someone to call me. No one's ever called, right? Mm-hmm. How many times have you heard that? Hundreds. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, hundreds. But just to wrap that up is that if you're calling the age leads out of the CRM, right, might be 3, 4 out of 10 that you get on the phone. But if you're tying those down, you should still be seeing the 70, 75%. Like the rest of the math stays the same. It's just the contact part.
You want to know, this is kind of weird, but my thought process behind this, even if I got a lead that someone had before, I always thought they're not going to work as hard as me. They're not going to follow up. They're not going to be able to keep up with me. They probably got hung up on, got their feelings hurt, and never called them again. And I have no problem paying way less for a lead from anywhere.
Oh, yeah. I love age leads.
Yeah.
Love age leads. And just to tack onto that list of what the other agent probably didn't do or couldn't do or whatever, is I don't know that they care. Their level of care for that family is the same. So, yeah.
Why do you think there's so many different levels of agent success? Starting with the agent that's not successful at all, to the agent that is a couple sales per week, to the 100K producer, 200K producer, 400K producer, and then you're in like a different world of 850 in a year. Gotcha. What do you think the difference is between all these different levels? And why do you think people fail? There's a lot of people that just completely bomb, fail. They're out of the industry, done.
Yeah. The number one reason is that everything they do and every move they make in this industry is about the money instead of about being in service to the people, right? That, I'm not trying to impose my religion on anybody, but being in service of the people that God puts in your path. But if it's all about the money, you will fail. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. But like I stated before, again, if you focused on how many people you could help, whatever you need in your life, monetarily, it'll come if you help enough people. So we kind of talked about this yesterday, is that the main reason why people are, and not even just this industry, is the main reason why people are not hitting the levels and hitting their goals or the levels of success that they seek, is they have some things inside themselves that they haven't addressed. They're not okay with themselves, right? Don't want to get into some therapy session, but people can see and feel that. And like we talked about, the chemical part of our body is that when somebody is happy, we actually emit a pheromone. That's why when somebody's smiling and happy, you can't help yourself but be smiling happy around them, because it's actual chemical things going on in our body. So same thing with being in the field, is that they call it the helper's high. So when you give and when you serve people from a true place and there's no motive behind it, our bodies literally release, you know,
Vibes.
so, yeah, vibes like we talked about yesterday. Yeah, but there's chemicals, endorphins, and now I can't think of the proper word right now. Serotonin, which is our happy chemical, right? There's chemical reactions that go on in our body, literally changing our state of being, and how happy and how we feel about ourselves in that moment. So, our cortisone levels are dropped. That's our stress chemical in our body. So if you're running around doing 9, 10, 12, 13 appointments and you're not controlling your emotions,
Or
and
4.
and your heart's not in the right place, and you don't have the helpers high, and your cortisone levels, your stress levels are high all day, the clients can feel that. So
Or
if your
2,
heart's in the wrong
or
place,
2 appointments, or 4.
doesn't matter. Yeah. If your heart's in the wrong place, it's literally a chemical imbalance in your body, and the clients can feel
Now
that.
they can feel it over the phone too, right?
100%. Yeah.
100%. They can.
That's y'all talk about, and Sean talks about all the time, being non-emotional about this. I'm able to do that because I know I care about every client, and I do want what's truly best for them. I have no agenda for myself when it comes to that. So if they say no, I just wasn't the right agent, but I don't throw their file away, right? I pass it to another agent because that doesn't mean they don't still need to be protected. So I can't be selfish enough as to ball that up and throw it in the trash and them possibly never get protected. So, but during the day, running 13 appointments, you got to control your emotions.
Hey, is it possible to have fun and be mad at the same time?
No. Literally chemically impossible in your body for that to happen.
Because when I would have fun, dude, I'd be booking appointments like crazy. Like totally goofing around too. Calling people, hey, I'm coming over. I look like Brad Pitt when I get there, just so you know. Hey, I'm coming over. I look like Ben Affleck, just so you know when I get there. Dude, I'm telling everybody everything that I get there. They go, you don't look like any of them.
That's funny.
You know?
But no, look, so that's the reason why people fail. If your heart's in the right place and you are in service of yes, we need to make money. Yes. But it's not everything. Because like I told you about probably 6 months ago, I wasn't like this. I had to take a step back and look at my life, and I was making the most money I've ever made in my life, and I was equally as stressed as I was in the previous
Dude, I
career.
did the same thing.
I had to look at my home life with the kids.
Dude, I
my
did the
wife.
exact same thing.
Yeah, everything. So
What you realize is money does not make you happy.
I know it allows you to do some cool stuff, and like I said, even if you want to, like, I get money every opportunity that I can get. Even if you want to be charitable, you need to make more and have excess to give away, so you can take care of the house bills, significant other, kids, office. If you got staff, like you have, and I don't even call my staff. I call them my work family.
Yeah, but you really have to enjoy the ride.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to. And see, when you learn how to control that and your heart is in the right place, it literally just leaks over into other parts of your life.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be doing this 50, 60, 70 hours a week, why not figure out a way to enjoy it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've done.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
Human interaction and proper communication, and again, just caring about the person, the people that we're serving.
Enjoy the people, the learning, the drive time, the learning from customers, what you learn about rejection. So somebody said to me the other day, they go, okay, you have 3,800 people selling insurance on your team every month. How do you not get really stressed? Okay. And you know that when something goes wrong, it gets to me when no one else can figure out what to do. So it's not like it's easy stuff that I end up getting called about. But my answer was, I pretend like I'm playing Monopoly. Like I actually pretend like none of this is even real.
Okay.
And then I go, this is just a game, dude. Like, let's make what we think's happen, have fun, smile. This is just a game. Yeah. And we kind of are playing real life Monopoly, dude. We're just actually the pieces. I don't know. That's how I think about it.
That's deep. I mean, I agree with you. You have to figure out a way to enjoy life. And so I didn't talk about schedule. So I'm back to 5 days a week, 12, 13 appointments a day, 2 office days, 3-4 Zooms with the team, dial sessions, and live dials with the team, coaching, and a little bit of sales training. So any excess time is spent with my family, because when making this shift and enjoying what I do and being out in the field, just imagine if you were, let me use the proper word on here, upset and battling in 60 households a week. I would die an early death.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah. So when I have fun,
And
you got to make it fun for the client too, because if it's weird and awkward for them, they're not going to let you run a business anyways.
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. So, and no need to be nervous. You're just talking to another human being. If you really are there to help them, well, what is there reason to be nervous for?
Yeah.
That you won't make a sale? I don't think what we do is sales personally. And I said it yesterday.
It's not.
No, is that you don't have to be a good salesperson to do what we do. You have to be a good, genuine person. That's it. Once
That
you
works
learn the
hard.
products, that works hard, of course.
Yeah. That's cool.
That can be bold, right, and fight for the families.
Yeah, that's huge. Well, dude, thank you for coming in, man. I love your
for
story. Before we wrap up, what's your goal with FFL in the next 12 months?
Be board member, north of board member, which is $1 million a month as an agency. And it's not about that. And it's not about, I love the integrity factor. But I just want to help as many people as I can, because this career is really tough to do on your own. If you're out on your own island in this, you're also going to fail.
Don't be a lone wolf.
Do not in this. You will fail.
And it's so lonely and miserable. And
I tried a couple times.
yeah.
It is. But again, that helper's high thing, that's real, because I get that. And with every new agent, every client that I help, and every new partner that comes on board, and I can help in some way, shape, or form. And if you're coming here to just be a part of something, right? Work a day or two, like a Saturday or two out of the month, add $2-3 grand, which is very, very easily doable here. Add $2 or $3 grand, helping, a few families throughout the course of an entire month. You just want to be a part of something, make some extra income, cool. If you want to go after 70 grand, a month, 100 grand a month, I've been and done that too several times. I can help you get wherever, but meeting people where they're at, but just helping. But that helper's high is real. And I always say when I see there, and one of my partners have either their first policy or their first big week, 10, 15, 20, 30 grand.
Mm-hmm.
That's it gives me that feeling of Christmas morning,
the helper's high.
Yeah.
I've never had a term for that, but I have felt a high leaving a customer's house and driving home. And I always said the beer tastes better, the food tastes better.
Indeed.
Everything seemed better. The vacation was funner. The time with my family was more enjoyable because I wasn't worried about what I should have done, what I could have done, what I didn't do.
Here's the factor, because I always try to figure out, because Sean Mike is just a machine. That's exactly what fuels you, Sean, is the helper's high.
It is, yeah.
Everything he does at the Drew Center, being at every grand opening right now,
Dude.
it's the helper's high. I can't even fathom, but it's the helper's high.
I went with him for a week, dude, and I was like, whoa,
right.
I'll
be with him next week. So
this is intense, bro.
Yeah.
How about one of the dudes that went with us fell asleep on on the way to the third office that day? We hadn't slept at all. Gym at 3 a.m. Leave at 5 every day, multiple days in a row.
Yeah.
And then dude falls asleep.
That's so funny. But that's what fuels you, Sean, man. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you, Andrew. FFL as a whole, but man, 7 days a week. He's the man. He's in more cities some weeks, and some agents are in houses. Okay,
that's a fact. It's a fact.
Indeed. But go ahead.
Well, dude, thank you for coming in. If someone wants to work with you and they're not with family, if they are with FFL, we all help each other.
Of course.
If they're not, what's the email they can reach out to get on your team?
It is FFLAP, which stands for Family First Life Asset Protection. It's the name of the agency. FFLAP.processing@gmail.com.